Good evening. I think it's evening most of the places I'm normally streaming to because it's 11 o'clock my time. So it must be 5 your time, Jamie.
Yep.
Yep. Hey, been there, done that. And none of your business. Exactly. If you're in first, you're last. Um, First of all, thank you so much, Tom, for. Oh my God, that guy stood outside for almost 8 hours today, holding a camera, talking, and he didn't lose any energy.
I
I
know.
had to turn down my my microphone or my speakers so many times because when he gets excited, uh, he uh, he gets excited.
He sure does.
Yeah. Hey, Texas Jen and Aaron, Jules, welcome. Aaron, it's only two where you am. Oh, well, then good afternoon. Yes, you were in the opening this week. Hey, Ralph, 3 p.m. your time. Just get to one time zone. Hey, Danny. Yeah, we just watched 8 hours. I think most of us did. And I just thought YouTube is hiding me. Well, probably because I set it up for tomorrow and then changed it to the day. Yeah, Tom met a Skinner. You a Skinner. You're a Skinner. Well, it says that you are very interested in this case, and oh my God, if I wished we had a live feed because I have been following along. I won't say it's the most biased reporter
Mhm.
I ever read, but I just thought that we would do a rundown. I have exactly 40 pages of tweets hit stashed, so I can go through and say what he believes happened. And then I have a few notes from people who talked to Tom who might have heard something differently.
Okay, good, because I didn't get to see all of that. I was working, and I was hoping we get an update today, like a catch up.
Hey, Peter, thank you for sharing it. Gotta run to the store before the storm. You're always running to the store when I start streaming. Hey, Brian, you ate all the pretzels in the bag. Well, well, Giannetti, when a person is that whacked out, it's hard to find entertainment in him. In the beginning, yeah, when he was threatening Tom in front of two police officers, you kind of laugh at him, but in the end, it was just sad to watch. It says you're passionate about freedom. Yeah, you want to see what's going on, but hey, Rabbit, let's not. Well, I didn't contribute a $50. I contributed 50 Danish, so that's more like $5. So, but still, uh, you know him personally. Well, I wouldn't invite him over. Let's just say that. Uh, it's it's uh it's a Skinner. I think that's someone who likes to smoke his rocks instead of having a collection of pet rocks like I have. He's a mentally ill, paranoid schizophrenic and needs to seek treatment. Yeah, and Tom should stop. Uh, Tom had hacked his phone and turned off his microphone so he couldn't stream because Tom's a hacker.
I don't even know what's going on.
Congratulations, Brian. That's amazing, and I know it's probably very tough. And keep fighting. Yeah, Tom. I have had him on all day, just waiting to have all the updates. No, it's a bit more than $0.001. Hey, Danielle. Well, Sea Souter, I wanted to get on because I haven't seen Jamie all day.
I know.
So, but Jamie, how much did you get?
Um, I
Did you get
mean,
that? It started with confusion because the witness, which we later found out was the babysitter for the victim, didn't show up. And he wanted Bradel wanted the court to compel her to appear in court.
okay.
Um, and then this is a witness that Bradel's investigators talked to. They mentioned that in the last hearing that one of the investigators had been arrested for intimidating a witness or something, and apparently that is this babysitter who apparently, and this might be burying the lead, apparently made a 10-page statement just as the victim did, but
What?
didn't sign it, and that will come back to bite them on the arse.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't catch. I was in and out, so I only got bits and pieces.
yeah. Hey, Lynn. We are just covering the Turtleboy hearing today. Yeah, it was a very long day, but I thought I would just do a little rundown from it today. She was a hostile witness, but we'll get to that. Go buy some cream cheese. Hey, she's here. Oh, he's live. Oh, so Tom stopped hacking his phone. That's nice of Tom. No, but it started out with that witness didn't meet in court today. What now?
Did you say he's live rapping on his Facebook? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he rapped about I think he wanted to see Aiden naked or something. He did a little rap on Tom's channel too. So yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard him, but I'll have to say by reading especially the ending of this, it was really, really not good. It was bad preparation. I have an invite out to Dave. I would like to talk to him about that if he has the time at sometimes. I'm not sure that that's the drum. He seems so off his tits. He could dance to color. But the reason why they wanted this witness was, according to Bradel's investigator, that the victim said Kearney didn't hit her. The victim's attorney said this is a single issue 209A hearing. The victim is here and we should move forward. That's the judge say we will move forward with the hearing, but the judge will note Bradel's objection. So they start, and then Bradel goes into that the victim stole notes from. And this is where it's really hard to follow someone on Twitter, because Bradel says the victim stole note from the victim. How? Those notes were taken about conversations between the victim and Kate Peters, who is, I believe Kate Peters is Masshole Mafia. I'll return to that later. I'll put it in the end. And Dave was in Melissa's. Dave is everywhere. He was here just before. He's everywhere. But Bradel says the victim called the police later that morning to report supposed domestic violence incident, and the victim told the police that Kearney pushed her onto a couch. This was the judge who jailed Kearney on the bond violation, and he's well aware of the facts. The victim was in touch with police officer who helped her report the domestic violence incident. The judge said Kearney may be entitled to the victim's communications with the police in that criminal proceeding against Kearney for domestic violence, and he won't allow it here. And that's That's maybe a little bit of the biased. Hi, Jamie. See you later. Of the bias showing up, because as I understood it from people who were in the courtroom, those police officer who helped her report the domestic violence wasn't the police. It was hey Melissa, welcome. Yeah, Kate is Masshole Mafia. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But she didn't call 911. She called Mello. Jamie should hear this because that's interesting. Did you hear? Were you there when the people told Tom? They've been waiting for this, haven't they? When you
Yeah, I
turn on the
know.
camera, they start yapping. Oh, not yeah. Sorry, it was Tolly. I had Tolly first, and then I put it Mellow. I don't know why. When she reported this, she didn't report it to the police. She reported it to Tolly.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was like yelling over here, like, "What?"
Yeah, and that's really fun that the reporter said she called the police and the police helped her report the domestic violence episode.
Of course they did.
Yeah, but if you call the police, why are they helping her report it? No, you call 911. Don't. Yeah, talk about the devil. Hey, Dave.
Hello.
Hi, Dave.
What is a scholar? Whatever they would call it?
Skinner.
Skinner. What's a Skinner? It's a new term.
I think it's a guy who don't have a pet rock collection, but smokes his rocks.
I see. Okay, cool. I'm good with that. So today was interesting. Okay, so I wasn't really sure exactly what this particular type of hearing was. Now I know.
Oh, it's a bad person.
A Skinner is a bad person.
Yeah, Danny T has it's on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, I almost said it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank you so much for we don't know the yeah. I thought it was because they get skinny when they smoke the rock.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's what it is, Melissa. So okay, so what today's hearing was. I got some more information. I wasn't really sure exactly what was going on. All right. I'm going to convert it to Michigan terminology just because that's what I know. This is it was restraining order. So in Michigan, it would be called the personal protection order. And those are generally handed out in some courts like candy. Somebody makes an allegation saying that they have been threatened or assaulted in some way. And rather than the criminal court taking over, it's a civil matter. And you file an application and an affidavit saying, I'm in danger. This person's going to attack me. And then you get an order that says that basically they have to stay away from you. In Michigan, probably most likely the same in Massachusetts. It's a quasi-civil, quasi-criminal in that a violation could be potentially criminal, but it goes into the police lien system, and it's treated like a criminal order, even though it's still a civil thing. It's really kind of a weird hybrid. So when somebody files that, you can challenge it. And you basically get one bite at the apple to challenge it. Now, the other side still has the burden of proof, at least in Michigan. But they have to set forth facts and evidence that supports their claim. So that's what today's hearing was basically challenging the validity of the allegation that was made. Now, a lot of people said, well, her story, her testimony, at least what we saw on the Twitters, was different than her affidavit. And that may be true. Most of the time it is. In reality, most of the time it is, but it doesn't mean that there's not still grounds for the personal protection order. So it's just a civil order that says that he cannot come anywhere near her or have any communication with her, either directly or indirectly. However, the problem seems to lie is that it's being used as justification to remove his bond on the other cases, because he's being charged with the felony cases. It's being used by that now, what's even more curious, so that's the procedures that happened today. What's even more curious is what Maps just says. It sounds like the girlfriend might have been a honeypot.
Yeah.
From what I gather from
yeah.
what I've been reading, they got together December 15th. They weren't together before that, were they?
No.
So December 15th, she meets him. They do the twiddle-deedle-dee, and then all of a sudden, mind you, she's got a Ring camera. She's taking notes. She's taking his notes. She's communicating directly with the DA or the prosecutor, whatever his name is. She's a honeypot. So when you get rent-a-feds, as I like to call them, that also, perform services, that is generally in each state is different, but generally illegal. Now in Michigan, when we talk about entrapment, we have to say that the conduct of the police or the rent-a-fed is so obscene and unconscionable that it would be considered entrapment. Other states focus on the inducement, the state of mind of the defendant, things like that. It sounds like a little bit like prostitution, women of negotiable affections, as we call them. But they broke up December 23rd, but I thought the testimony was that they first got together on December 15th.
No,
that's what I thought I saw.
They broke up in November, I believe, and then I can find it because I have all.
Got back together in December. Is that what it was? I have
all the tweets here from Kearney.
I know. I was trying to follow them as we were going.
But I purposely went in and
grabbed them all
and take them all down because I know we wouldn't believe. I wouldn't remember anything for after 8 hours. Victim. I just need to get to Kearney.
Yeah, I think they said they had been together like a couple months or something like that. Okay. But then they broke up and
then they got back together. Yeah. So it sounds like the state might have taken advantage of her.
I have it here. So Bradel asked Kearney if he has laid a hand on the victim in a way that causes assault. He says no. Kearney said he agreed to meet with the victim for smacks in September after a Karen Reed hearing on 15 September.
Well,
Kearney said he and the victim dated. He had feelings for her. Now Kearney feels betrayed. On 11th of September, the victim told Kearney... No, 11th of November. I have to remember to turn the dates around for you Americans. The victims told Kearney she is pregnant, but that she would take care of it. Later on, says Kearney, the victim said she really didn't want to have an orgasm because she's against it morally. Kearney said he would support her choice anyway. Kearney was going to drive her to get a orgasm in late November. Bradel now asks Kearney if he works with digital content a lot. He alleged the picture from the victim was from 2021 that the victim said was from the clinic. Another colorful statement.
Her nickname. Aiden, Nanya.
But it still sounds like maybe they got involved, like because if she reached out to him,
they was involved.
Yeah, we need a timeline here, and that's what I'm trying to gather right now.
But I have more dates here. Kearney says he was willing to support the victims getting a massage, and he didn't know the status of the baby after the 27th of November. Kearney says that he was happy the victim was making the decision. He tells the court he is on the fence about the issue, but he firmly supports women's rights. He says she abused her. Talks about October 2023 fundraiser that Kearney went to. Kearney and the victim got into an argument from that night because of pictures being shared of Kearney's ex from the event. Kearney tried to apologize. So they had a relationship in October.
Okay.
The judge allowed the question. A Ring camera recorded the victim and Kearney having smacks. Said it was the first time he learned about the videos, but the two were constantly smexting with each other. She loved it. We both loved it.
So, so the state is using her as a witness in a grand jury proceeding regarding possible conspiracy between Turtleboy and Karen Reed. I'm not sure how it would be conspiracy because you have to conspire to do something illegal, right? Like if Baker and I conspire to stream right now, it's not really a conspiracy because we're not doing anything illegal. It has to be an illegal act. And so let's assume, for the sake of argument, that Turtleboy was paid in cash and cars or whatever the hell the allegation was. Let's assume that. What was he paid for?
Yeah,
was he paid
car payments and something else.
So he received car payments for information pertaining to the Karen Reed case. Whoopity-doo. That's called a private investigator. Or that's called a source in the media industry, right? There's a lot of people who get paid for information or just to provide a document. So there's nothing illegal about that. Thank you, Nanya. So there has to be some sort of underlying crime. Let's take the searching of the license plate, for example. Now, presume it's illegal for that woman that Turtleboy was messaging with to have accessed that particular database and gathered that information. Let's assume it's illegal because it wasn't done for state authorized purposes, right? Law enforcement, tracking criminals or whatever. So that could be the underlying crime. Now, him, Turtleboy, and that woman agreeing that that search was going to be done, that's a conspiracy to commit a crime. Now, it sounds like maybe because that was a key factor that's been used in the Karen Reed case, it sounds like maybe they're investigating that particular aspect of it. Was Karen Reed paying Turtleboy for the license plate information because then she could be culpable in this conspiracy? We don't know, but that would be an example of where that information that could be conspiracy. When we come to say the fact that the name and contact information for the plow truck driver, from my information, he didn't get that. He got that by doing
legwork. Normal
legwork. Yeah, literally making phone calls and talking to people, right? That's traditional, like boots on the ground journalism, investigative journalism. So there'd be nothing illegal there. And so that wouldn't be conspiracy because there's no underlying crime. And of course, when we're talking, we're assuming that Turtleboy talking with this woman that accessed the license plate, that was a crime, right? That hasn't been proven. We're just assuming. So I'm just trying to differentiate between the two. But the fact that there is a conspiracy, potential conspiracy indictment between Turtleboy and Karen Reed is quite interesting. And like I said on, what's his name? The Glander? I can't remember his name. Glare. His channel. The state is its own worst enemy. This would not be the situation that it is if they did not turn over, hide documents, not turn them over when they were supposed to, go after Turtleboy, go after all this stuff. We wouldn't have people from Michigan and Denmark talking about this right now. Well, I mean, maybe you'd be talking about the Karen Reed case, but I wasn't involved until all of a sudden Turtleboy got involved. And now there's so many more people that have their eyes on this because of the state's actions. On that show, there was a comment about the Karen Reed's defense team is really on the offense. They're really on the offense. They're going hard. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day because, like, I have a criminal trial coming up. I ask the prosecutor for documents and information. They send them over. I'm not in court filing motions and asking for sanctions because they do what they're supposed to do. They turn over the information. Right? But if the state didn't, then I'd have to go on the offense and go after it. So they are their own worst enemy. They're creating the situation and then trying to blame everybody else.
Yeah, and how much does it help that now? Again, I know the state isn't that bright. Unless you live in a socialist paradise, then the state has all the brains. But you're using what seems to be a bit of an unstable lady I don't know her. I heard Tom talking on camera about rumors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I heard her recording on the phone where she seemed very irate. You're using her to entrap a
State doesn't
guy.
care. They don't care.
No, they don't care, but they have to put her on the stand where she has to do pretty well. And I know when I read a very biased reporter, she did amazingly on the stand today. When we heard from the other side, she did very, very badly. If she has a little drinking poo problem, and the state are maybe
Well,
calling and saying, "You have 4 kids. Do you like them?" Because remember, we are the state.
yeah, I know. Okay, so here's the thing too, with regard to this restraining order or personal protection order, the burden of proof. I'm assuming Massachusetts is the same as Michigan because it's civil. The burden of proof is 51%.
Yeah.
That's all you have to prove. It's not even 51%. As Abraham Lincoln would say, you take the scales of justice and you put all the defenses on one side and all the plaintiffs on the other. 1 grain of wheat more on the plaintiff's end, and they have it. That's it. 1 grain of wheat. That's all you need. So it's a very low threshold to prove that case. So again, even though her statements don't line up with her affidavit, and even though there are some other things that came out, some shocking things, and maybe even she's being used as a pawn against the state. The question that the judge had to decide today is whether or not, based off of the evidence that he heard, which is essentially he said, she said, who is more believable. And in those cases, sometimes the judge goes with the defendant. Sometimes the judge goes with the plaintiff. It just is what it is. And I don't envy Turtleboy's attorney in that situation where he called what he thought was a friendly witness that turned out to be an extremely hostile one. That blew up in his face. In hindsight, of course, Monday morning quarterbacking, maybe you shouldn't have called her. But you don't know that in the moment. As an attorney, I could think this is going to be a great witness. I might have my hesitations, maybe a little bit, but I got some backup or something. But you think at the very least, this is going to be somewhat of a net positive for our position. And this just blew up. It happens. It just happens. And I think the fact that Turtleboy's attorney made such a big issue out of that particular witness, particularly because she wasn't there. And then the judge really wanted to talk to this witness. And then this witness was basically crying, it sounded like, and just hysterics and was, I don't know nothing. How do you impeach that? How do you know? How do you impeach? I don't know. I know nothing. It's hard to impeach that. So without the judge qualifying that witness as a hostile witness, you can't impeach them. You can't. So the court rules are generally you can impeach the other side's witness for truthfulness and credibility, but you can't impeach your own. So because he called that witness and the judge didn't qualify him or her rather as a hostile witness, then you can't impeach her. And so you're left with basically her saying, I know nothing. I was told nothing.
Yeah, and the problem is there's no signature on the supposed statement. Supposedly there's a 10-page statement from her describing what she knew and didn't know.
Oh, you're talking about the babysitter?
Yeah, and
I haven't.
As long as you don't have a signature, you don't have anything.
Right. And
because you can't impeach him. But, yeah, because when I can say I have this statement from Jamie. Mm-hmm. Jamie told me all of this. I wrote it down word for word. Where did she sign it?
Yeah, they can take their prior written statements and impeach them with kind of. The judge still has to allow, because the general rule is, and I'm assuming, okay, so just for everyone who doesn't practice law or doesn't know U.S. law, each state has its own court rules. Now, there's the model court rules that the American Bar Association sort of puts out, but there's no authority for those. Each state adopts their own court rules, and they're all just a little different. Generally speaking, though, you can't impeach your own witness. There are limited circumstances in which you can, but generally as a rule, you can impeach your own witness. So the judge, when Turtleboy's attorney said, "May I impeach by calling other witnesses or introducing those other statements," as Irish was pointing to, generally you can't impeach your own witness. So so it's tough. And when the judge said that's improper, she's kind of, or he, the judge, is kind of right, as so long as they're not qualified as a hostile witness, which he asked for, right? He did. He asked if I could, can I qualify her as a hostile witness and ask her leading questions? And the judge said no. Yeah. So it was just one of those unfortunate cases. The threshold is low. The witness blew up. I even have a text from his attorney saying that she was a friendly, because I said, I was like, "Hey, I feel for you. I've been there. Good job though. Otherwise." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, those hostile witnesses are tough. And he's like, "She wasn't hostile when we spoke with her. She wasn't hostile until she got on the Zoom hearing." And I get that. I've been there. It's just a bad spot to be in. And so with that, you get the outcome you get. Unfortunately, the threshold is low, but the ramifications are high. So MSP is total corrupt. Michigan State Police, is that what you're talking about? Or is that Massachusetts? State Police? I don't know. Well, they're both corrupt.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's more work to be done. I just got a bunch of other statements from his attorney. But yeah, it's a shame. You in hindsight, maybe you wouldn't have relied on her. Maybe you would have done the he said, she said, and hoped the court would have gone that way. It was a push a little too far that kind of blew up on you. But I'm not going to fault anybody for that, because I've been there, and you can't tell. You don't know. Everyone thinks, if you have this magic formula, the law is black and white. And there are, 5 different heads involved in any particular case. There's both parties, there's both attorneys, and there's the judge, right? And you don't know what any of them is going to do except for you being, the defense attorney. So, and then there's the witnesses on top of it, and you have no idea.
No, and again, the worst part of not having a camera in the room is we have to rely on those people who come out and talk to Tom and what's clearly a biased reporter. So it's very, very hard to feel.
I heard the people coming out and talking to Tom, and I was like, they seem really optimistic. I don't think it's that optimistic. And then I'm watching the Twitter, and I'm like, it seems really negative. I don't think it's that negative. But, obviously I wasn't there. But I've been in courts where this sort of back and forth between domestic partners is going on. I do it every day. And so it's just sort of a call. I don't think it was heavily one-sided or the other. The judge made the decision. Apparently there are appeal opportunities, and it sounds like that's what's going to happen. So,
well, no, we didn't get the executive summary. We just we followed a court reporter and took down his statements and listened to Tom, who was outside, and talked to people who were in the room.
That's the other thing. I have sent requests to the court for the affidavit. I have not heard back from them yet. I contacted them today about a Zoom access. They said no. And apparently the transcripts are not going to be available either. They tried to get the Turtleboy's attorney tried to get a lift on that today. And he's going to have to file a further motion regarding that. The judge wasn't willing to do it today. If there is a lift, I should be able to, or we should, all of us, should be able to get this information, and we can go from there. But
is it because it's a DV or this case?
Yeah, no, it's because it's a restraining order, personal protection order. Those are confidential in Michigan too. Unless you're a party to the case, you're not getting them. So unless the court makes them public, the court can actively make it public based on one party's motion. So it's the same in Michigan. And again, I have to imagine it's similar across the state. several.
And good citizen, it was Grant who took the picture in the courtroom, allegedly at the defense attorney's computer, but it was cleared there was nothing, and his phone was given back to him so he could keep on reporting. Here's the court reporter. He's Wendy Murphy's useless son who has beef. Yeah, but he has a press pass, so he, even if he is as biased as he is, in the eyes of the court, a journalist.
You want me to see if I can get hold of Olivia?
I told Tom that he should just become a reporter for you, so he can walk in with his press pass.
I'll get him press pass. Absolutely. I got Steve Gosney press pass. I'll get anyone press pass.
Yeah,
press pass.
Because they were looking up, him and LTL was looking up what it took to become or get a press pass.
I have codes of conduct, though. He can't be yelling at crack addicts on the street.
Oh, yeah, you have to have some HR department talking about him. No, I don't think Olivia was there, even though
somebody said
Grant,
she was.
Grant found her. He mixed up a few names and stuff like that, but he outed her.
No, I was saying Olivia, the assistant, the defense assistant.
Yeah, but
I thought we were talking about Olivia, the other Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia Nile or Olivia Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo.
Yeah. So,
what's she go by on the Twitter? Oh, there she is. I see her.
Olivia Lambo _.
Yep, I got her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk about his girlfriend being banged. Feral.
I can't even. So, David, what do you take of like the fact that she reached out to Tully versus 911?
That she's a honeypot.
I know. That's what.
Yeah,
that's what got me.
It's to me. It seems like, and who has? Again, this is from Tom's witnesses, so they are, in essence, just as trustworthy as Grant. Apparently, the pregnancy test was from May 23. And she slept with him until he left at 5 a.m. She was so scared of him, but they slept together. He went over there for a little smexy time after they had. As I read his statement.
That's not the issue, though. Okay, so the issue is, you can have all the smexy time you want. Did he knock her around? The court found, well, it's more likely than not that something went on and that he could potentially be a danger to her, so I'm going to grant it.
Yeah, that's but it wasn't him as much he was afraid of, because
I just don't like the way they're using this, and I don't like the fact that they used her to get to him to establish. No. They basically said, "Hey, go spy on him and get us whatever information you can regarding his relationship with Karen Reed and whatever else he's doing as far as intimidating witnesses. Report back to us. You can communicate directly with me." And they had a breakup, so that wasn't going to be available. And then all of a sudden she got back with him. Yeah. I believe she got back with him because the state encouraged her to.
Yeah.
And the state wanted this information. And so that's the biggest problem that I see. That's what came out of this case. That's the most shocking to me, is that it sounds like the state was using her as a honeypot.
Yeah. And according to, again, the court reporter, the defense lawyer's argument was she is in fear due to Kearney's large following and his history of behavior.
I hate that BS. Okay, so I had a case like this. It started during the vid, and then it didn't get resolved until just last fall. But so it was a breakup, right? It was a breakup. It was, whatever, people fight and they break up. Well, she claimed that she was scared, not because of things that he was saying to her, which was basically like, "Hey, I'd really like to get back together," because of things that other people were saying to her about my client. right? That's what made her scared. I'm like, well, he didn't say anything that made her scared, so that should not be grounds. But he was still charged with aggravated stalking. We finally got it dismissed. But it's like you can't use other people's words about the defendant to justify you being scared.
We have a rule when we have threats. It must be to you or clearly stated that I should go tell you that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there is an agency law, which like
Yeah.
if I
If
tell
I tell
Baker to tell
Jamie,
Jamie
call-
something.
yeah, if I tell Jamie call Dave and said I'm going to kill him tomorrow, that would constitute a threat because that would be directly informing Jamie that
Yeah.
I have intent to kill you. But if I said, "Oh my,"
But if you said nothing and Jamie just comes to me and says that Baker, he's pissed and he has a record, man, he's gonna kill you, and now I'm scared of Baker. He didn't say anything to constitute that fear. That was purely on Jamie. She's the horrible, the bad actor in this case.
yeah, or if I said, "Oh, I hate Dave. Someone should kill him." That's not a threat against you.
Mm-mm.
It's her implying, and another thing is that you have to be in a reasonable fear for it to be a threat, and not that you, because again, some people might say something to me that I would laugh about, but Jamie would be frightened of. But where are the evidence that this victim has been massively hurt by the turtle riders? Again, it's just such a stupid argument, and they use the same to get all those Canton 9 guys in there. They're intimidating witnesses. How? Standing on the street saying nothing.
Yeah, and the other thing is in Michigan, anyways, and I'm trying to look it up in Massachusetts, is that it's an objective and a subjective standard. So a objective standard, meaning the reasonable, prudent person would be scared of this statement, has to be true, as well as the subjective standard. So Baker saying he's going to unalive me, I'm not subjectively scared, where somebody in the chat might be objectively scared. All right, so you get the difference. You have to have both in Michigan, and I don't know what it requires in Massachusetts. So I'm just trying to look it up.
What she texted him from his son's phone was that she liked to have a bite of his hot dog. She might have provided the buns.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You
Jamie
can.
She texts that from her kid's cell phone?
Yeah, that she missed his hot dog.
That's
Yeah.
So that's adorable.
But again, just because Jamie invites me over for some vanilla doesn't mean I can smack her around, right? So there's a difference. In case you guys didn't know, Jamie's house smells like vanilla, like a bakery, like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's Dave repellent.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Yeah, but we are back to the 1 grain on one side, and of course, she might be believable. I can't tell.
Yes, Jamie would fold me into a basketball.
Yeah. but again, what I find so fascinating is that the state, and again, yeah, I know Turtleboy is, and this is a DV case and an RO, and it's not about this, and it's not about, but the length that the state will go, I think that's the biggest revelation today, and I would be very interested in, why do you have Ring cameras in your bedroom?
That's weird.
That is weird.
Well, that's the most telling
did some
part.
Police officer have her put it there?
Yeah, because he only talks when we're in bed. It's pillow talk. So, we'll go put a camera in there.
Yeah,
but like, is it like a Ring camera, like the doorbell kind? Or are there other
They said a
ones?
ring cam.
Because that's what I picture is like the doorbell cams. And I'm like, what do you have a doorbell cam in your bedroom for?
Well, you can get there because I actually saw this in our electronics store the other day. You can have them like you have surveillance cameras.
Oh, well, still that is weird.
Liz, they have to prove that she lied, because it's not perjury if you don't get caught in it. Even though we have evidence pointing in the other direction, if the judge don't believe that she lied, she didn't lie. So all of us can say, well, she lied. But as long as the judge believe her, she didn't lie. That's the funny thing about perjury, because perjury, it's fine as long as you're not convicted of it.
Well, and perjury is a hard thing to prove in the first place, because people are like, oh, yeah, I forgot, or I didn't think that was important, or the question was phrased wrong. Perjury is kind of hard to prove in the first place. With regard to the camera in the bedroom, even if you are in a single party consent state like Michigan is, right? You don't, if you are part of the conversation, you can record without telling anybody else. You still have to respect the. Okay, you still
her
have
phone
to
is acting up. She's called. Her sister's calling her.
Oh, okay. You still have to respect the reasonable expectation of privacy rule. Like you can't put it in a bathroom or a bedroom where people are changing, even if you're in there and part of a conversation, right? If there's a reasonable expectation of privacy, then you still can't record. So I think she loses on two fronts. One, because it's a two-party consent state, or it's an all-party consent state, as far as I understand. But also, he has a reasonable expectation of privacy that those actions in the bedroom are not going to be recorded.
And to those who say, well, she lied due to the metadata, they didn't bring an expert in metadata to prove that the photo was false. They can claim this photo was taken in 1959, and judge said, prove it. And they said, well, we can see it in the metadata. Yeah, fine. Get an expert in here, let him be sworn in as an expert, and let him prove, because that's their opinion that it was faked. It's the same as remember when Aiden released his video, the other side said, well, he faked the consent part of it, and he cut it up and he put it together so it sounded bad. This is exactly the same thing,
except way worse, in my opinion. Don't do that to someone.
But still, you can't. Again, you have to make the judge believe it. She might have been lying her little behind off. Apparently, she's a size 1. I don't know what that means, but that must be little. But as long as the judge said, well, I accept it, she didn't lie. And that's the problem, that people might know that she's lying, but as long as the judge don't rule that way, she didn't lie. Then it's up for the defense attorney to prove it.
I'm going to go jump in this other chat and see if Olivia's over there.
Yeah, it was an old photo, but you have to have a judge that said, well, let's have an electronics expert come in and tell us that. It's the same as if any of you watched the Rittenhouse case. They had an expert who said that, how did you find out stuff happened in the picture? Well, I just pinched to zoom. But you can't do that because that's altering the evidence. So you have to prove it and have a judge let you prove it. Well, it's the same when the other side said, well, Aiden will clearly lie about everything. Again, until it's ruled by a judge, it's not a lie.
You don't put your live alerts in my Discord.
I put my live alert into your Discord.
Did you?
Everyone
under
should
Turtleboy?
No, I put it in my own chat. Everyone should go sign up over at MLS Law, because then you have access to his Discord, and then you can see us argue about where we should post stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's there for.
Another thing, recording smexing and releasing that. If she have done that, that's very illegal, isn't it? That was reported by Bradley as an old photo from. Yeah, but they couldn't prove it because he asked, "Are you an expert in metadata?" And said no. Hey, Stephanie Bland. Some Tom CPU chat earlier said that she has camera in her bedroom to see if anyone creeps around her bed while she sleeps and can turn them off as needed. Yeah, that's the same reason I have cameras on the girls' bathroom, just to make sure no one else is in there before the girls go in there.
That's right. That's what we do it for.
Yeah, it's that's
what
not
adult,
good.
What adult people do in their bedroom is none of my business. Well, yeah, I mean, if he had known about it, it'd be hard for him to. What's interesting is I saw the tweet about him, Turtleboy, being concerned that the room was bugged, and I saw like the follow-ups, like, "Oh, conspiracy much?" or whatever, whatever it was. I was like, but he was right. Right? I mean, he was right. She was working for the state.
Yeah.
So he's all
just because you're paranoid, you can still be followed
that's
by
what
people.
It was. Yeah,
you can still be followed by people.
Absolutely.
No, let's not rule out that they both agreed to the bedroom widths were okay, but let's rule it out because Aiden said it wasn't okay. So we have to rule that out because according to Aiden, said under oath today, it was the first time he learned about it. So we can rule that out. They didn't both agree to it. Again, this is a statement given in court under oath.
We don't have written
into the transcript. So this is the truth now. Just as the truth is, she claims it was not an old picture.
Yeah.
We have to swing for both sides of the fence. Well, I've been live a long time, watching Tom. Well, if she releases that photo, then she's gonna be in a whole lot of trouble. Yeah, LTL for the press pass. It should be quite easy, but as they read it, they have to pay to the union to get a press pass in Massachusetts, just like I have to do in Denmark.
I'll contact the court. I'll give them a call tomorrow.
Well, I think Aiden did the right thing to begin with, meeting with her in a conference room. The problem started when he went into her apartment. That's because if they had stayed in the conference room, he wouldn't have been in as much trouble as he is now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, she could still tell a story about being.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you guys got to be careful of who you stick it to.
Yeah,
you know, like my motto: I don't trust anyone ever.
Yeah, and Nick is right here, and to me, and I might just be, I know I'm a mean person and I'm an idiot. I've been told that today. They just want him in prison for Karen Reed's case to go away, and then charges will be dropped. Or he will get away with a slap on the wrist. Hey, Pixie.
Yeah. He's not going to get much, if anything, for this. The problem is that they're incarcerating a man who is, in my opinion, he might have crossed some lines. Okay, to be fair, he might have crossed some lines, but did it rise to the level of criminal culpability? No.
No. What about the pregnancy? Did it prove it, or was it that an opinion? Well, she testified that she was. He believed she was pregnant. So I don't know what you can take from that. But again, this was a restraining order, so I don't know if that would have changed much, because the issue is she afraid of him? That's why you have restraining order. You don't have revenge corn laws in Massachusetts. That's interesting.
Okay. So then why was it brought up?
I think it's the Streisand effect, Ruby Charles. They don't understand the Streisand effect, especially after the internet came around. The Streisand effect is multiplied by millions because they tried to say, well, we're going to take out, I don't know. I believe, in my opinion, allegedly, they wanted to take Turtleboy out because he made a lot of noise. The problem is they didn't figure out a baker from Denmark, a lawyer from Michigan, the Glare, LTL, Melissa, who just started up watching the Karen Reed affidavit yesterday. You have
let's explain the
Brandy.
Streisand effect. So Barbara Streisand, if you guys don't know who she is, she's an actress, and she might sing from time to time. Anyways, there was a picture of her home, like an aerial photograph of her home on one website, one photo. It had like 3 hits on it. And she sued for invasion of privacy. And then all of a sudden there were millions of hits on it. So it actually achieved the opposite effect of what she was going for. And so ever since then, it's been termed the Streisand effect. When you want to minimize something, but in exchange, you actually exacerbate it, that's the Streisand effect. And that's what I was saying. The state is very much, I mean, they're their own worst enemy, you know. Yeah. Again, I didn't know about this. I knew about the Karen Reed case, this sort of cursory, until Turtleboy was indicted. Well, now I know about it, and I've been talking about it, and a lot of other people have been. And there's a lot more streams about Karen Reed because of the Turtleboy indictment. We're talking about the Karen Reed case today because Turtleboy was in court today, not because Karen Reed was in court today. And so it's really the Streisand effect.
Yeah, and what do I think about what he told about the second grand jury? Well, it wasn't. Some people were talking with Tom outside and said, "Was it a fake subpoena to draw him in?" That could be a part of the honeypot. That they said, "Go tell him there is a second grand jury set up where I will become a witness, so he would come over." I don't know. It would fit good with the honeypot theory. I don't know if there is a second grand jury. It's I can't tell you.
Yeah, grand juries are secret, so we won't know unless there's an indictment.
So,
but I can guarantee there is one.
Probably is.
There's definitely a grand jury, a second grand jury indictment. Now, Karen Little was talking about an FBI, so a federal grand jury probe currently going on regarding Turtleboy and Karen Reed, which I didn't know was existing, but apparently that's happening. So, because when I mentioned the newest grand jury thing to her, she thought I was talking about the FBI one. I said, no, there's another one going on. So that's interesting. But I don't think that has to do with the culpability of Karen Reed and Turtleboy. That has to do with the culpability of potentially the state.
Yeah, the feds are looking into the state. And that's why Karen Reed's defense were asking for the 6 letters sent from the DA to the state. The latest explanation for that is a prior DA state something is just out to get mellow, so there's nothing in it. The same people who claim that Karen Reed is filled with conspiracy is now saying that the feds are making a conspiracy against the state.
Pots and kettles. They're all black, right? Hey, Tom, good coverage today.
Yeah, and little mystery. Well, supposedly he did see something. As far as I understood, he took notes on KP. That's the notes. The doc, because he was looking through her phones to see her communications with KP. Is what I believe the 5 pages of notes he took was. Yeah, and Tom, amazing work today. as always.
Yeah, go to the bathroom, man. He was out there for, that was like 8 hours. I was driving to the office and he was driving to the court. And
Yeah.
I thought hopefully I could get a Zoom hearing before it went live. And he was already out there and he just ended it and I was home.
The federal hook to this is before even the Karen Reed case, the feds were already investigating the DA's office. So the feds have been on it, but then now there's rumors that they're also looking into the Karen Reed case. So that's the Fed angle. Hey, Angela Martin. Yeah, Tom must have been cold all day.
Yeah, I'm cold here. It is.
Yeah, that's why they speculated subpoena might be fake. Yeah. It could be just another part of the honeypot saying, oh, I got subpoenaed today. I got this official looking paper. Come over and look at it. And he's saying, well, just send me a picture. No. I don't like to take pictures. Come talk to me. Because apparently she had been trying to throw the meat curtains at him for a little bit of time.
The meat curtains.
Hey, Luna.
It's so gross when you say it like that.
God, I know.
Yeah, everyone remember to hit the like and subscribe if you're new here. Baker's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he does okay.
He does all right.
So top 10 of people you know in Denmark.
Yes, definitely. That cyclist that almost ran me down because I was walking too close to the bike lane.
You really have never let that go.
The freaking Danes and their bicycles.
Well, we bike everywhere.
Yeah, so, you do. There's thousands of you. And don't get too close to that line. Oh my God. It's like walking. It's like walking on a freeway, really. Walking around Denmark and near those bicycle lanes. It's ridiculous.
It's one of the few things we are known for is bikes. Yeah. Seasworth, I don't know why you dropped in right at that time. Kevin has I don't know who planned this. Oh. Tom, thank you so very much. You didn't have to, and you have a link if you want to come on and say hey to people.
Hey Tom, I reached out to Olivia too. I don't know where she's at. I wanted to see what her thoughts were on this.
Yeah, but I talked to her a few days ago, and she said she was kind of laying low a bit.
Oh, okay.
That's with fine. All of the fuss going on.
Fair enough.
So
yeah, I don't envy you guys that are like in and around the area. I get nervous when I cover the Crumbly stuff because that's the county I live in. And I don't even have, it's not even like a corruption. I don't agree with the prosecution on that case, but it's not like this corrupt stuff going on. That's insane.
Yeah. You all who watched Tom today, thank you. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. Yeah. And Tom, thank you so much. You're going on the Wall of Fame too. And
thank you, Tom.
Elizabeth, yes, Turtleboy is still in jail. So I can recap because we got new people here. So essentially what this is, it's a personal protection or a restraining order. It's a civil matter with a quasi-criminal effect. And so what you have to do is you have to bring an affidavit supporting the facts, of an abuse type situation or the threat of abuse. And then the defendant has an opportunity to challenge you. And that's what happened today. So we have an evidentiary hearing where the plaintiff, this victim, whatever her name is, has to prove by the preponderance of the evidence that, in fact, there is a risk to her safety because of Turtleboy's actions. It's a very low threshold. Some people say it's 51%. It's even less than that. It just has to be more than 50% burden. It came down to essentially a he said, she said argument. And those are tough for courts. I deal with them all the time. And those are tough. The court made a judgment call. The problem is that the ramifications of that are that his bond has been revoked on the other criminal matter. So while the threshold is low, he is still locked up because he's unable to get released on the bond due to the dangerousness part of the PPO. But apparently there are appeals available, at least according to his attorney, that they're going to be working on diligently. And they're also going to, they have something coming up on the 25th. And so maybe that would be a day that he can get out. But he's still locked up just on a bond hold on the other case because of the outcome of this very low threshold case.
Yeah,
High
imagine that it
flux.
just popped up after they didn't get his bond revoked, and then this case just magically appeared. And again, let's all just remember, Aiden was an idiot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he was in the crosshairs. You don't, even though Smex is good, especially Smex with a little cray-cray, you don't go to cray-cray when you have a target on you. And hello, Flux. I don't know why I mentioned crazy and you in the same sentence.
A PPO or a restraining order it's not that bad of a thing. It's a piece of paper that says stay away and don't talk to this person, right? There could be some criminal underpinnings. It's usually put into the lien system where police have access to it, and sometimes it restricts you from owning firearms and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. The problem is that it now affects his bond on the other case, right? So that's why this was an important hearing. And but in general, like the judge was right. Like when the judge said like that's not for this hearing, when they're talking about the subpoenas and the other matters, it's not for the judge to decide right now. What all the judge has to decide is there probable or not probable cause? Is there preponderance of the evidence that Aiden might have done something, some sort of assault, which is the threat of a battery or a battery on this woman? And the judge says, I think there's enough there, so I'm going to maintain this restraining order. That's all it is.
Yeah, and John, I believe Karen herself, I don't know if she's supporting the YouTube support, but she's aware of it because she is out on bond. So I don't know how close people are, but Tom, again, the nicest person on the internet, gave her flowers after court the other day.
So John, a protective order doesn't go on your record, right? It's not a criminal offense. It's a civil matter. So it doesn't go on your record, like your criminal record, but it does generally, and again, I'm speaking from a Michigan standpoint here, not a Massachusetts standpoint. It does go into the lien system or like the police database. So if you get like stopped just for like a traffic violation, they'll see that it's there, right? And the idea is that if the victim calls and says, hey, Turtleboy's over at my house, they can run his name and see, like, okay, there is a PPO. He's not supposed to be here. We'll arrest him. And that's the quasi-criminal part of it that comes into play. But other than that, it's not the biggest of deals.
No, and that's why it's so convenient, because it's just enough to have the bond revoked.
Yep, just enough.
It's just enough.
I know what I was going to say. Remember when they were in court on the felony arraignment? And the prosecutor, before all of this happened, the prosecutor said, well, if he gets a dangerousness charge, then we can revoke his bond. And the judge was like, okay, well, if he gets dangerousness charge, then yeah. And what happened like the very next day? Oh, all of a sudden there was a dangerousness charge on an event that didn't happen until later the next day, after this victim, called that very prosecutor earlier that day.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
If you take that and write that out, it spells honeypot.
Yeah. And but again, don't think about it. It's totally above the board.
I mean, he gave away his hand. Just play back that hearing from his felony arraignment. He specifically said, well, when he gets that, as if he knew that this was in the works, right? He knew this was in the works. Well, we're gonna get, because I even called him out on it. I said, you guys screwed up because you removed all the restrictions because you brought him with a felony. And then after I said that, he's like, well, if he gets a dangerousness charge, then we can revoke his bond. And I was just thinking, well, hopefully Aiden, keeps his head, out of the mess, or, don't assault somebody. And lo and behold, the very next morning, or no, that morning, that was a Friday. That morning, there was a phone call from that witness to the prosecutor that morning. I don't know if it took place before or after the hearing, but it was that morning. And then the next day, there's charges. Seems awfully coincidental. Flux, what would you say about that? I want to know what Flux's opinion is.
Yeah. Similar to the Anderson family, Aiden's family too. Anyone know them? What? Follow up. Does protective order go on your record? Follow up. Similar to the Anderson family, Aiden's family too.
Because there was a PPO, I think. There's Flux's comment. Flux is always good for her comments. I don't know what Chung means.
No.
That's right. That's what we
absolutely
do,
can't stand by that. I love the government. I also won't get my back off Lego next year.
I love YouTube. YouTube is my friend, but the government can suck it.
Well, I've definitely had a change of heart on a lot of these issues since meeting all of you guys and really diving into this stuff. So,
okay, I have a question. What's the difference between a red pill and a blue pill? Because I don't know the difference.
It's either you open your eyes or you believe the lie.
This is poop of a male cow. Okay, I'll go with that. Never trust the government. And remember, your girlfriend of 2 to 3 months could be working for the government. One makes you hard, one makes you harder. Okay, well, which one?
Which one?
The red pill comes from the Matrix movie. Yeah, I know that. I know it, but I don't know which one is which. Like, is the blue pill now you can see clearly, or is the red pill now you can see clearly? I don't know which one is which. Yeah. I never really watched those movies. I tried to watch them again a couple years ago, and I was, I don't know. The blonde twins messed me up. Is that the second one, right? The blonde twins.
You're talking about the Matrix?
Yeah, red pill. Okay, red pill.
I spelled Aiden's name wrong. I better. Thank you so much, Peter. It's the important things. Did I get the info you sent me on Billy Tippett? Where did you send it to me? Because free Billy Tippett.
Probably in Discord where you never are.
Probably.
There's information about Billy Tippett.
Yeah, I need to look into the Billy Tippett was wrongfully convicted. I'm sure of it. I love when free Billy Tippett. F you, Bev. That's yeah. Oh. Tolly paid a victim a visit that Friday morning. Yeah, well, it was again when you're in that high profile. He did the right thing. Said, "Let's meet in a conference room." It's kind of like in the movies. Always meet in a public place, because then you can't get into trouble. Who hates what?
That Baker, LOL. Oh yeah, you are getting called out on Twitter, sir. Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's because I spelled Aiden's name wrong in the headline. Because I might have gone a little fast.
I would have spelled it wrong too. Well, you should put Turtleboy in the headline. Oh, you got
Turtleboy. Turtleboy, Kearney.
All right.
What was happening on Twitter? What was?
Baker politely asked a certain gentleman reporter if he could be less biased in his reporting, and then he got called out. Oh, as if, Baker, you're not biased, blah, 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 blah.
I'm super biased and I'm mean.
Yes, yeah.
Which I agree to.
Biased and mean.
Yeah, because Nima, I yelled at her after I told her nicely 5 times that I didn't want to talk about Turtleboy in a Kearney video. Then I yelled at her. That was mean. I know that. Nima's here today again. Today we are talking about Turtleboy, so I don't yell at her today. But I did that twice, and I said that. But I said thank you for watching my videos. It was I can't remember who it was, but someone called me a mean guy.
Yeah, they said I've seen your videos and you're like super biased, and Baker's like, "Well, thanks for watching my videos." It's great.
Hate watching us is still watching.
Yeah.
It's
And we're not super biased. We're very like we call it like it is. That's all it is. Same with Dave.
Well,
he calls it like it is.
Yeah.
I call it as I see it. And,
Yeah.
and maybe
Well-
sometimes I lied. It's just what did I just say 5 minutes ago? Aiden was an idiot that day. He shouldn't have put himself in a position where he could have his bond revoked, no matter how juicy the honeypot was.
Oh my
And
God.
people saying, well, he was set up. Yeah, but if you walk into a trap, you still walked it. If you did it knowingly or unknowingly, you still went into a trap. And
Nobody replies to me. I was like, I was poking people and nobody replies.
Dave like really wants some Twitter trolls, guys. Like, why don't you just
Yeah.
troll him, make him feel better about himself?
Yeah, I feel unloved. No one's trolling me.
Well-
Oh yeah, okay. So it was Biff Thunder Muffin.
Yeah, Biff
That
Thunder
said your
Muffin.
coverage is
Right.
nothing but biased, and you said thank you for watching my content.
His name was what? Biff
Biff
Thunder Muffin?
Yeah, Biff Thunder
Yeah.
Muffin.
He should really reevaluate his name if he's going to come at people. I mean, come
They've
on.
already blocked you. Yeah, they probably have blocked me.
And we try to make this a little lighthearted, and of course it's not fun to be in prison, but sometimes a little laughter doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We mask the sadness and the tears with laughter.
you tried to
do.
give me facts about a case I told you multiple times we weren't talking about that day. That's fine, Nima. I get to be mean to you, and Iris was happy she got to time you out for a little while. It's fine. You're welcome back anytime. Today we're talking about this, so yeah.
I got responses. I'm so excited.
Oh my God.
Oh, because I said maybe I'll take a trip and visit Aiden. And I can ask him some questions. And someone said, your ears will be filled with lies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I miss Kyle. Where's he been?
Yeah, Kyle was awesome.
Kyle calling Dave a homeless lawyer
Homeless internet lawyer.
was my favorite thing in the world.
It was so good. I should have brought that
All
up in
three
my
of you
year-end
guys,
review.
all of you three guys are critical thinkers and only search for the truth. If that's bias, get the F out of here. Well, everyone has a bit of bias, but still, I think we have shown multiple times that we can change our mind if we see good evidence. And I'm just mad that they changed the theory about the 24 miles per hour, because I made an entire Lego stream about that. That's no problem.
Yeah,
you have
you
20
did.
stock accounts. Are you feral too? Stick to one stock account a stream.
Biff is at a party with all of his friends. Is he? No, this one. So the one that responded to me is Jules Amberetti. Jules Amberetti. I don't know who that is, but I'm having fun with Jules. Let's see. Anything else? Did the state send Turtleboy's girlfriend to him in the first place? That was a question, and the response is, this is a complete lie. The question is a lie, sir?
It's just, I was writing something and someone wrote something completely different. I said, that's not what we're talking about. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It's so hard to have an argument.
There was
That's what
somebody there was somebody that commented about Olivia being in the court, and that she was also chatting on Tom's video, and that was goofy. And I said, why is it goofy that someone's in court and chatting on a video? It's like, no, I'm talking about Turtleboy's attorney or something. Or no, Turtleboy's antics are guilty or goofy or something like that. Or his antics are goofy. I don't remember. And I was like, okay, but that's not what your statement. You're talking about Olivia texting while being in court. Why is that goofy? It's like, you got to read more of my context. It's like,
okay, whatever. Aaron, the parts where I would say the most important part is where he meets his new friend who raps for him. That's about 6 hours in or something like that. Or else all the times he talks with the ladies who comes out of court. But he has a friend who raps for him, and then he gives him a cigarette, and then he threatens to hit him in front of 2 officers.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
that guy's a character. I've seen some of his videos before. I think the anti-Turtleboy on Twitter, Turtleboy troll or something. I don't know. I follow him just because he's fun. Posts a lot of his stuff where he's like ranting and raving.
You follow the guy that raps on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We're just talking down what we heard from court today, and then we started getting into our trolls on the internet. So,
well, because I try to come with like appropriate and rational assessments of any given situation, including Turtleboy's, and I tried to explain like this is a very low threshold hearing, and it's not unusual in a he said she said situation for the judge to just say, well, why not enter the order? And no harm, no foul, because really they're not that big of a deal. Generally, the problem is that it has implications in his other case, which we don't like. But if you're just taking this case alone, I could see the judge granting this going forward, and I'm not going to fault the judge for granting it. And we also talked about the babysitter as a witness, saying that, you know, as an attorney, I've had witnesses blow up on me before where you talk to them ahead of time and you think they're going to be great witnesses, and then you call them on the stand and, oh my God, it's a nightmare. And that's exactly what happened here. And you can't second guess yourself or fault yourself for that. I don't fault Turtleboy's attorney for that. He was working on the information that he had based on the conversations that he had and with her and what she had with the PI and other people. And it is what it is. It was a bad outcome, and on a really low threshold, low stakes case, it just happens to have bigger impact. That's all.
Yeah, it's
So what was the actual outcome? I didn't get to see.
So
they
typically
extended the PO.
Yeah, so at least in Michigan, a PPO, a personal protection order, or restraining order, as they call it in Massachusetts, would be for 1 year. So when it gets filed, you generally have like 14 days to challenge it. And if you are successful in your challenge, it gets dismissed. If you're not, then it's imposed for 1 year. Unless facts and circumstance changes or mutual agreement by the parties, it'll be dismissed. And so Aiden challenged it today, and it's an evidentiary hearing. It's a trial, but the rules are a little loosey-goosey. The rules of evidence are a little loosey-goosey with these types of cases. Again, it's a civil matter with a preponderance of the evidence threshold. So that was the evidentiary hearing, and she still had the burden during it. She has to come forth with proof, some sort of evidence that, in fact, that there is a potential for a battery, or there was a battery, or there was an assault, the threat of a battery, things like that. And her evidence, her proof is her testimony. Aiden's evidence was his testimony. They had the babysitter, they thought, but she ended up saying, I know nothing. So it was a he said, she said situation, and the judge decided with her.
Yeah, it was that, and that's one of the things where you're sitting there thinking, how the F do you get into that situation? You should have your ducks especially when you press that hard that you want that witness in the courtroom.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is, I am fairly confident that Aiden's attorney thought that they had a linchpin witness. He fought hard to get her. He subpoenaed her there, and she didn't show. And then they got her on Zoom. It was definitely he thought he had a good witness. And again, I've been there before where they just they turned out really not to be good witnesses at all.
Yeah.
But he got into the situation because he was thinking with his little turtle. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Well, Nima, that's why I say we should always allow all the people who disagree with us in chat, because a lot of people are saying, "Well, get people out of here if they disagree." No, because if you can't defend your opinions, then your opinions aren't that strong.
This is not a kangaroo.
Try.
This is not a. This hearing today was an appropriate hearing. This judge made the decision that this judge made. The problem is all the stuff behind it that wasn't for the judge to decide today, or this judge to decide at all. The only thing that this judge had to decide today was whether or not there was in the past or likely to be in the future an assault and or a battery against this woman by Turtleboy on a very low threshold standard. That was it. None of the other stuff matters for today's hearing. It's very interesting, and some of it was very shocking, and leads to probably a lot of behind the scenes manipulation of the situation. But that doesn't. Okay, let's assume everything that I assume is true. Let's assume that the attorney general, the prosecutor, wants to shut up Turtleboy. Okay, let's assume they think the best way to do that is to lock him up. Let's assume that they're going to purposely reach out and communicate with his then ex-girlfriend in order to do that, to trump up charges or to try to utilize the situation. Let's assume they tell her to fake a pregnancy and invite her over. And let's assume he goes over there on that false premise and smacks the shit out of her. That's still an illegal assault and battery, right?
Yeah.
So you can't do it. Even if Turtleboy knew all of this, you can't do that. And so the only thing for the judge to decide is, did he push her around? Did he push her on the couch? Did he grab at her? Did he hit her or whatever? And the judge said, there's a no. It's a more than 50% burden. That's all it is.
And again, if you were honey trapped into this case, maybe be careful if someone reaches out to you and say, "Oh, I am clearly a witness who can help you," because maybe you are being double dipped in honey. You don't get the meat curtains, but you still get taken by the
meat
nose.
curtains. Stop saying.
Yeah, I mean, but let's assume that the police sent her over and says, use your meat curtains. It could be an issue for the Karen Reed case. It could be an issue for his criminal case. But again, he can't smack her around, and it's a very low threshold. No. He can't even threaten to do it, right? That's the threat. That's the threshold, and it's a very small threshold, and that's all. So I don't have a legal objection to what the judge did today. Technically, the judge had enough evidence to sustain the restraining order, and the judge decided to, and it is what it is. So,
yeah.
The PI couldn't have taken the stand because that would be hearsay, right? Testifying what she told him.
So you can use this. So this is why I have, when I interview witnesses in a case, I always try to have someone else with me or someone else conduct the interviews, because if they're called to the stand and they testify different than how they talk to my PI or me or something else, I can impeach them with that, with a recording or with someone else's testimony, for the purposes not of proving the facts asserted, but impeaching the credibility of that witness. So you can do that. Even though it's hearsay, you can do that for the purposes of impeachment. What happened here today is that the witness that they wanted to impeach with the PI was their own witness. And the general rules is that you can't impeach your own witness. That's why Turtleboy's attorney asked that he be allowed to ask leading questions, treat her as a hostile witness. A hostile witness is not somebody who is like angry, but somebody who is opposed to your position, as if the other side called this witness as their own witness. And if you're allowed to call them as a hostile witness and treat them as if the other side called them and you're cross-examining them, then you can impeach your own witness. But otherwise, you cannot impeach your own witness. There has to be a witness that's called from the other side. So you can call, well, perfect example is the babysitter was an impeachment witness for the victim, right? They were trying to impeach the victim's testimony with the babysitter. That you can do, and that the court allowed. But you can't impeach your own witness, and you can't, there is a line. At some point, the court's going to say you can't impeach a witness with an impeachment witness with an impeachment witness, which is impeaching the original witness, right? You can't just keep going back and forth. They usually only allow one impeachment witness per chain, right? So there's a couple of reasons why you wouldn't be able to call the PI, technically speaking. Although the court does have the discretion, the court chose not to exercise it and said, no, this is your witness. You swore up and down that this witness was going to testify favorably to you. I'm not going to allow you to treat this one as a hostile witness just because she decides to testify otherwise. So
I think she, according to what I read, she testified that she was afraid that Turtleboy would that Turtleboy had access to court papers that could be used for MSP. So MSP
well,
would
she was
already have
supposed
that.
to test. Yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, she said she testified to I know nothing because either the victim said I wasn't going to tell you anything, or she told the victim not to say anything to me because I don't want to be involved. And you can't. I mean, you can impeach that with the PI, but again, you're trying to impeach your own witness. It's just you're caught in a sticky spot. And I know everyone got excited when they announced on Tom's stream that they were going to have the babysitter, actually testify. They were going to bring her in and force her to appear via Zoom. I'm like, I wasn't that excited because I know how these things go. When you subpoena a witness and then they don't show, and then you have to force them with contempt powers to make them show, they're not going to be friendly. They're not going to be happy to be there. And so it's not going to go well. And I have to imagine Turtleboy's attorney knew that going in, but we're still going to ask the questions.
Yeah. Can perjury charges be filed against her for lies under oath? Yeah, if you can prove it. Well, and that you can prove that she knowingly and willingly lied to the court. Because she can say, well,
to prove.
I just misremembered it. Then you have to prove.
Also, who's going to be the one bringing the charges? The very ones who are benefited by her perjury. So that's why it's hard to get perjury charges against state's witnesses or hostile witnesses. So technically, she's a hostile witness to the state, right? But she testified favorably. So the states would be like, I'm going to bring perjury charges.
Yeah, because it would be the state who would have to say. And again, how many times have you been in a courtroom where somebody lied and they clearly lied, and still they won't be charged with perjury because it's so hard to, because they could just say, well, I misremembered. Mm-hmm. And that's why if she had that document signed, or you had a tape recording, or two witnesses who could testify that she told this, then you could impeach her with that prior knowledge. But
yeah, testimony is very so perjury, in order for it to be brought, has to be very black and white. A good example would be like, I don't own that piece of real estate, and then you produce a deed which clearly has your name on it that you signed last year, right? Or something like, I mean, it has to be so black and white. But even then, you'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot because I buy so much real estate, So it's very hard to prove, that someone intentionally tried to mislead the court.
Why she wasn't declared a hostile witness? Because he called her.
Well,
just because he can't get the testimony out of her he wants. You can't say, well, she's clearly hostile. Then you have to prove to me that she have told me something else. And he didn't have anything he could show. He could show a piece of paper that his PI wrote, but there was no signature. So he couldn't impeach her with prior statements either.
Yeah.
And that's, And that's the big problem again, because this is a courtroom. This isn't in front of a jury. This is even worse, because here you have to meet the rules of the law. You can't do like you can in a courtroom. You can spin a tale and just make the jury believe it. Here you have to have all your T's crossed, I's dotted, and Q's scratched. I don't know. You really, really have to have everything in order to meet those rules, because this is the judge who is the gatekeeper in this one, and it's not like a jury who can just make it up as they go.
Yeah.
Can Bradel file charges? No, because it was his witness.
Yeah, no, he can't file charges. He's not a state actor, so he can't file criminal charges. There's potentially, I would assume, a civil angle that you could go after, but most of the time there's judicial immunity, so you can't sue somebody, say, for defamation. Like if you put in a complaint something and someone else says no, that's not true, right? So assume it's a lie and assume that that person wins, right? So it's been proven in a court of law by the fact that there's a verdict that your original statement in the complaint was false. You still can't sue because there's this judicial immunity. They don't want to chill people from filing lawsuits, so they give people immunity for their testimony and for things that are written in court filings. So generally, no, there's no opportunity.
None of the witness statements in Reed case are signed by witnesses either.
Yeah.
No, but they are reports to the police. It's a police officer who written them down with another police officer present.
Yeah, but don't they have to sign
them? But it's still
too?
weird that they didn't sign them.
Wait, you talking about the affidavits?
Yeah, from
all the in the
Karen Reed case. I don't know about that.
No, it depends on what all the interviews conducted hasn't been signed by the interviewee.
Yeah, but those are okay. So let's talk about what an affidavit actually is. Evidence in a case is what's used to prove a fact that's material to the case, or prove or disprove a fact, right? So it usually comes in the form of oral testimony. It can also be written testimony, which is an affidavit signed under oath. Okay, but just because somebody writes a statement doesn't mean that it's actual evidence. It might be enough for, say, search warrants and things like that, but it's not evidence admitted in the court of law. Now, if that witness is on the stand and says, yes, that's my document, that's what I wrote down, then it could be admitted potentially, but it's not evidence until it's actually presented at trial. So you don't need signatures from people on these documents in order for it to be used in a criminal proceeding context. You can use it to impeach, you can use it to inform, like police reports, for example. In Michigan, I cannot introduce a police report, even though it could be signed all over the place and dated by all the police, or the state. The prosecutor can't admit them. They're not evidence. The officer's testimony on the stand is what the evidence is. I use the police reports, however, to develop my examination of the officer, to know roughly what he's going to testify to. And if he testifies to something different, to then impeach him with. But the police report itself, the officer's written statements, are not evidence. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, but it's impeachment grounds.
Yeah.
I just start a few here. Her testimony was clearly hostile. I watched many trials where witnesses are declared hostile. Yeah, but you have something. You need something you can declare them hostile with. It's just him feeling she's not giving her the answer he wants. She clearly stated, enough. I don't know anything. I didn't remember anything. I don't know nothing. That's not being hostile. It's not remembering. He feels he's hostile because she has stated otherwise to them before, but there's no paper trail. And as long as there's no paper trail, she's not hostile.
Yeah.
Allegedly, she contracted Turtleboy to testify for him. Should be jail calls or whatever, right? If she reached out to them, they could use that to say, well, there was clearly she knew him beforehand, but they didn't produce that in court. I was under the impression the PI got a signed statement. No signed statement, but then that fell apart, and then I saw someone in chat said she had called Turtleboy and told him the info. Then someone on X saying Turtleboy lied to Tim. Tom, I guess.
Well, so she had originally said that she called Turtleboy, and then when Turtleboy's attorney asked her, "Do you know Turtleboy?" She said no, and he's like, "Well, have you spoken with her or with him?" And she said no. And at that point, then you're like, okay, well, she's not going to be a good witness, right? You can't impeach her because she's your own witness. And he had then asked, can I treat her as a hostile witness, which would have opened up the possibility of impeaching her with that written statement, even though it wasn't signed. But the court said no, because she wasn't answering questions as a hostile witness. She was just simply giving him answers he didn't like.
You're trying to hear more about the second grand jury as well. Well, we know just as much as you do that there was said in court today that the victim was a witness in a grand jury trial, supposedly because there's a grand jury into Turtleboy, Karen Reed, and how they conspired doing stuff. But we don't know if that's true, because that could be part of, because as Dave called it, a honeypot, that Mello told this girl, I'll give you an official looking piece of paper saying subpoena for a grand jury. You call Turtleboy, say, I'm subpoenaed for a grand jury. There's no, a grand jury is secret. So we don't know anything. There's alleged to be a grand jury going, but we don't know more than that. It's he went over there because she claimed that she was being called as a witness in a grand jury trial or investigation into Karen Reed and him. No evidence of that so far, other than that's what she claimed, which make him go over to her place.
And for everyone who's saying, well, can't they use phone records and whatever else? It does. You can have God come down and say that she talked to him and all this stuff as an impeachment witness. The rules don't allow an impeachment witness for her because he called her. You cannot impeach your own witness. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Matt, again, we wouldn't know, because you wouldn't know about a grand jury until there's an indictment. That's the day we'll find out. Until then, I can claim that the UN is looking into the feds in Massachusetts because of the connections between the state prosecutor, Karen Peters, and Joe Biden. I have this for a very reliable source that the United Nations are looking into that. They are assembling a grand jury right now.
Okay.
You can't prove me wrong, because, again, it would be secret.
I believe you. Baker never lies.
I never
can always trust a baker.
Yeah.
Right.
So apparently there's also a federal grand jury going on right now, at least according to Miss Little. What's her name? Her first name? Attorney Little. She was talking about it on her stream.
Melanie. Oh, Melanie.
No.
Melissa.
Yeah. The attorney, the YouTuber.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Melanie.
Oh, Melanie.
Little.
Yeah, Melanie Little. Melanie Little. Oh. Yeah, I was over in her chat before I jumped on here. She was saying that there's also a federal grand jury going on. So cool. I don't know. It's not going to help anybody at the end of the day. They could indict and bring charges against all those people involved. And there's going to be someone else to step in and take over. And Karen Reed and Turtleboy are going to go off to court. You need a judge to dismiss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always easy to say that, well, there's this. And again, if we learn something from this case, is never trust the police. And what are feds?
They're the po-po.
Yep.
They're just,
as Flux would
the
say,
federal police.
Yeah, I mean, they are. Yeah, the feds are not your friends either. So they might come in and push people around, but the charges aren't going to go away. The case doesn't get dismissed because the people that bought it or brought it get indicted, right? Someone else steps in and takes over. The attorney general, other officers, whatever. People step in. So
Yeah.
it's not going to make the case go away.
And all of this it's real, people. Like, I wish that it was as easy as like make it go away, but this is going to be a fight for Turtleboy, and it's going to be a fight for Karen Reed too.
Yeah.
And Karen
And
Reed's
I know a
defense
lot
is
of
not
people
easy.
Thank you, Danielle. Green, not neon. And all the people who are saying, well, maybe he walks today. No. Because the problem isn't the DV. The problem is the DV was used to take his bond away in the federal case. So you have the federal judge. You have to persuade that
Felony.
he should reinstate the bond. Felony. Sorry.
Felony.
Yeah. It's
I just want to
it's
make sure we're
almost 1
clear on
o'clock.
that. They're both state cases, but yeah, because the one informs the other. Even if the PPO got dismissed, they'd still have to go back to the other case and say, hey, that got dismissed, so release him on bond.
Yeah. And wasn't it false there is a grand jury into Karen Reed and Turtleboy? Hence, why are they reporting the subpoena? Maybe again, there might be 20 grand juries going on right now. One of them is looking into me, even though I'm sitting in Denmark and they can't touch me because.
Well, my name's on the list.
Your name. They could be looking into Tom. They could be looking into the Canton 9.
This guy.
A grand jury is a secret. The grand jury is a secret, so we wouldn't know if there is a grand jury going on. There's a lot of speculations about the grand jury, and a grand jury summons could have been used to lure Turtleboy over to her house that night, but it doesn't mean she was a witness for a grand jury. It could be another part of the honeypot.
You know, there is a case specific on the issue of witnesses for grand juries coming forth and talking after they've testified. And I think even jurors, but I know for sure witnesses. So if any of you out there are grand jury members and or witnesses rather, and you've done testifying and you want to talk about it, give me a jingle. Be happy to have you on.
No strays ends. Have you seen a clip of Karen Reed saying "Free Turtleboy"? Me either. I wonder if Turtleboy still thinks all of this was worth it. I think so. It would be.
Hey, how are you doing, man? Does he think it's all worth it?
Again, I think he believes she's innocent, and I don't know if he expected she would be standing outside his courtroom screaming "Free Turtleboy" as he had been standing out screaming "Free Karen Reed." It's maybe not her thing, and she's
as a criminal defense attorney. A lot of people ask me, "How is it you can represent guilty people that do all these terrible things?" I separate myself from my clients. I don't get emotionally wrapped up in my clients' causes. You can say I nothing my clients. I want to win, though. And the reason why I want to win is because I don't want the state to be able to take shortcuts. I don't want them to take shortcuts, even if I know my client is guilty, because I don't want them to be able to take shortcuts for the innocent people, right? That's what I don't want. I don't want a system that's set up just to run people through the system without any checks or balances for anyone, innocent or guilty. So let's assume Turtleboy is guilty. Let's assume Karen Reed is guilty. We still want a fair process that favors the innocent. She is innocent. He is innocent. Nobody's been proven guilty of anything. And that's where we're starting right now. And until they're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, everybody is innocent. And that's a system that we should have. And that's a system that we need to protect.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
I don't know if this dude was the guy who just super chatted me. Everyone is welcome. Every opinion is welcome in my chat. As long as you are nice-ish. And you can call me a big liar and a stupid head. I don't care about that, but as long as you play nice, you can ask all the questions that you want, even though I might blow a gasket at you after the 5th time I'll tell you this is not the subject today. But as Nima said earlier,
attack me instead. I like it.
yeah, have your opinions challenged. Hey, Scott. So
Dave loves to have arguments, so argue with Dave, everyone.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. No, I have discussions and conversations. I don't have arguments.
yeah, we have
Unless it's with
intense.
Farrell.
Yeah, supposedly Turtleboy had some contact. Someone contacted the kid's school. Also, he said if he didn't testify, right? Well, yeah, and supposedly
Wait, who's
gave him
kid's school? Oh, the girlfriend?
yeah, supposedly. But I think supposedly she wasn't pregnant and she beat up him that night. I don't know where you got it from because
Well, it's hearsay, or not hearsay.
It's hearsay.
It's he said, she said. That's
Yeah.
the issue. It's he said, she said.
that's what I've tried to say in
Yeah.
another way, that I've heard just as many stories about the opposite side.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. For everything that you could say against Turtleboy, you could say against her, and it's a 50 plus threshold, right? 50% plus. And for all of you newbies, Abraham Lincoln once described preponderance of the evidence as you take the scales of justice and you put all the defense's evidence on one side and you put all of the plaintiff's evidence on the other. And if they balance out, there has not been a preponderance of the evidence. But 1 grain of wheat more on the plaintiff's side, and the plaintiff has the preponderance of the evidence. That is all that it takes. So it's an extremely low threshold that that the victim, the plaintiff in this case, had to meet today. And when you have a he said, she said, the judge went with that. And I can't fault the judge. I can't fault, there's no legal grounds to challenge anything. There's some technical stuff that we've been talking about, but the problem is that it's a very low threshold with huge implications for his other case.
Yeah.
That's all. But the judge is not there to decide the other implications, right? The judge is only there to decide whether or not there's preponderance of the evidence that a threat was made or that force was used, and that's it.
Yeah, and Caroline Forth, I'll tell you a little secret. If you want to pay me to say what you want, and as long as I can label it your opinion, I'll gladly take $5. And then I can have any opinion I want to what you are paying me to say, as long as it's YouTube friendly. I
feel like there's I also feel like there's a platform out there somewhere on the internet. I'm not sure what you call it, where you could jump on with a camera and a microphone and say whatever you want for the most part. I feel like there's maybe a couple of them. You can offer all of your opinions.
Yeah, and Scott McGinnis is just home from court, so he can answer questions if anyone has one. Dummkopf, as the Germans would say.
Oh, was Scott there?
Yeah, Scott was at court today.
Nice. Judge was actually very fair, he says.
Yeah, I got that from the ladies who came out, because when I read Glenn, he was fed up with Nagel, Bradel. He was fed up with Bradel. High sighing in the courtroom. Everyone is wondering, why did he answer those questions? And then I heard people come out and say, yeah, he seems really fair and he's listening. So again, a little bit biased.
Okay.
I haven't heard from her, no.
Wait, Danielle, you're gonna care if someone calls us names? Danielle's concerned about calling us names.
I have broad thighs, so I can carry a lot of abuse.
You beat them all up for me, Danielle.
Did they gasp when he called her a drunk? That's what I was wondering too, because in the reporting, it was Aiden called her a drunk and the audience gasps. Scott, please answer that question. Yeah, that was the tweet. That was the tweet. And I was like, really? The audience gasped? Are you sure it wasn't your lady fingers? That's what I want to know. Did your lady parts tighten up a little bit when you heard that? What was going on there, sir? If Scott was in the courtroom, I want to know what his thought was when that happened.
Hey, Margaret.
Can Scott call in? Scott can probably hop on the panel if he wants, I'm sure.
If Scott has a mic, an internet, and somewhere I can. He was right next to him. Tom doesn't give me. He had the ladies on, Scott. You know who he knows how to sell his channel. He seems
Yeah,
like
exactly. He
yeah.
knows.
Sorry, I didn't know he had both sets of the.
Du bist German. Gut zu sehen. Gut dich heute Abend zu sehen.
Yeah, what he said.
Mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut.
Yeah, I saw him on that other channel, and I was going to chat a little bit in there, and then I jumped on here. Okay, so can Turtleboy's attorney request the communications from Jen? Who's Jen and Proctor's wife?
Jen McCabe.
Oh, no, probably not, because it's not relevant. Okay, so what we're talking about is discovery. Can you request discovery of evidence that's being held by other parties?
It was overturned yesterday. Or denied. No, not yesterday. It was denied on Friday because they was asking for it. So
I know. I'm trying to explain it in the Turtleboy context. So the evidence is discoverable if it's relevant or likely to lead to relevant information. So if he can make an argument that it's likely to lead to relevant information, because I don't think those communications themselves are relevant to Turtleboy, then potentially. But I don't know how you would make that argument, because you're talking about two different people that don't have any involvement with Turtleboy around that time. Like Turtleboy is just off blogging about whatever, the crazy meth head or whatever at the time. So I don't know how you'd make that connection, but presumably you could, if you're able to convince the court that there's some sort of potentially relevant information that could be learned.
Yeah, and you really have to think of, like, is that evidence going to be anything that's going to help me in my case too? I mean,
well, not only that, I mean,
because not everything comes in. You can't just get a bunch of evidence and then bring it in.
Right. And so, okay, so a good example is, like, we do depositions in a civil case, right? So I can sit the other side down or someone with information and ask them all kinds of questions. And most of it's probably not going to come into the case, but it could lead to more discoverable information. So for example, I had a lawsuit where the guy was challenging a signature on a deed. He was trying to say that it was forged. And so I'm asking him about all kinds of stuff. What kind of car do you drive? How old is it? Does it have a GPS system? None of that ended up coming in. It ended up not being relevant. What I was trying to show is that he showed up at the time and place where everyone claims that it was signed. But I can ask about all of that stuff, even though at the end of the day, it's not admitted in trial.
Yeah.
Who is the meth head? Aiden? No, Aiden was talking about, I don't know. He's a blogger, right? He's been blogging for years. So I assume he's talking about something else, because at the time, Karen Reed's not charged. He's not talking about Karen Reed. So I was just assuming he was talking about some other story or something going on at the time. So it wouldn't be relevant, because no one's talking about Turtleboy in connection with the Karen Reed case until after he starts talking about Karen Reed.
And I think I was thinking about, because if there's, let's say they get discovery into those two people's phones now, it's actually someone close to me, might be a witness in a case, and they were talking about the phone of the perpetrator of was
Wait, what was that? I missed that entirely. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the perpetrator of that had his phone confiscated, and he has a big business that might not be legal. Let's just say it, with a lot of Colombian influence,
Mm-hmm.
and the person asked me, will the police be able to use that info? And I said, I'm not sure, because they're looking for something to do with. So if they find his well, I need 5 grams of something tomorrow, can they use that? In this case, let's say Turtleboy gets access to Jen and Proctor's phones, and there is some communications. Will they be able to lift that into the Karen's or tell Karen's lawyers, and they can say, well, we know from other discovery that there is connection communications?
It depends on the nature of the discovery. There could be a protective order, and we talked about protective orders when it was brought up in the Karen Reed case. And what a protective order does, and it's used very often in criminal cases and civil cases, they're entered into all the time. But it says, we're going to give you access to this information, but you can only use it in the context of this case. And so you won't be able to like freely share it out. However, that doesn't mean that it can't be attached to a public pleading and filed with the court, and then anyone has access to it, right? It can only be used for this case. Okay, cool. I'm going to attach these text messages and file it, and potentially that way. But if there is no protective order, then yes, absolutely.
And Danielle, it says green, not mean. So yeah, you were correct. But thank you so much again for another super chat. You'll go on the green, not mean wall.
Karen's attorney is already asking for some things for Turtleboy's case, I believe. Perhaps. I mean, the cases are tied together, right? One informs the other. So, but it only goes so far. It doesn't go back to before the whole Karen Reed was even charged sort of situation. It could be, you could get it because Jen could have been complaining to Proctor about this Turtleboy guy is pissing us off, blah, blah, blah. What can we do about it? So you might be able to get access to it that way. And then once you have it, you have it. So, yeah. So you could get access to it that way. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if we're talking about Jen complaining to Proctor about Turtleboy, then absolutely. And Jen is a potential... Is she a victim in the Turtleboy case? Is she listed as a victim?
I believe she was one of the witnesses intimidated, yeah.
And Proctor is too, and Proctor's wife. Okay. So, yeah, it could potentially be discoverable. Absolutely. That's not a bad angle. You can get at that information that way. Probably a lot easier than it seems like on the Karen Reed case.
Leandra, you are asking me to read the question before. The question before, if it's from you, the only thing you wrote before was no, but it proves he isn't harassing, bullying if they are family friends. I don't know what that's. I can't.
But no, it proves he isn't harassing, bullying if they're family friends.
It was denied in Kara's case because it wasn't relevant, but in Turtleboy, it is because they were talking about him bullying. That's was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got there before I did, but yes.
Yeah. So.
Never mind. He understood what I was saying. Yes, we got it. Yeah. They could in that situation.
Yeah. I know Aarhus. My brother-in-law is from Aarhus. So I know that quite well. I'm going to end this quite soon and redirect you all over to, I believe LTT is LTL. TL. You know him. You love him. He's going live in a couple of minutes, I believe, if he's open for redirect.
Tell him we sent you and said hi.
LTL,
it helps supports the community by sharing all of you. You get to get passed around like Jamie does.
Yeah.
In a friendly way.
In a friendly way. Yes, we're all very gentle with you.
Yeah.
If he had something. Thought he had something coming up now.
15 hours. He's live in 15 hours?
Didn't I see?
An hour 15. An hour 15.
No, I thought he had something coming up.
Stop.
Yeah, he has updates outside Turtleboy Light Court hearing. Yeah, that should be in 1
I
minute.
follow too many channels. I can't find anyone.
No, it's quite annoying. I have the same problem.
I know. Like I see everyone who's live, they're on top, but if they're not live, if they have something coming up. Oh,
So, yeah,
he's
it's hard
live
to
now.
expect.
LTL is
Oh.
live now, according to my thing. Oh no, it
Oh,
says upcoming.
Carleen,
God, I don't even know. 74 minutes.
the audio. Thank you, Carleen, for the 5 gifted memberships, which went to
Am I looking at the wrong
Jonathan,
thing?
Gregor Smith, Liz Nelson, Rob Gary, and Jim Ansfield. And hey, Sleuthy Goothy. This is the lady that you need to follow if you want all of the tea. She knows
Right?
everything.
Oh, Scott,
Yeah.
I can go see what you look like then. I may have been dozing off a little bit when I heard
Oh.
somebody come out of the courtroom.
Well, Scott, you need to pop on here sometime and just, you don't have to be on camera. You can just
No, if
talk.
you have
And
your voice,
barrel it up.
you're more than welcome.
Do you like Farrell? Never show
know.
your face.
You just never have to show your face.
She
Yeah,
loves that I
if-
send her stuff still addressed to Farrell Housewife and not her name.
Thank you, Carleen. You're more than welcome if you want to stop by sometime and talk. We are
Yeah.
pretty open, as long as you don't do stuff that will make me not have a YouTube channel anymore. So
You know what, Farrell? That's a good point. Because if I was doing this all over again, I don't know if I would. But I started my channel to promote my firm, and so my name and face has been out there for 6 years, so I'm good.
Yeah. I'd probably take it all back too.
Hello, everybody.
I'd definitely probably take it all back too. The incognito.
You were for a while. You were just
Yeah.
your
I tried.
making law simple.
Yeah, I tried.
yeah, but I started my channel being just a logo, and it works better now. We have faces because they're thinking, yeah, I understand why that voice sounds so ugly.
Yeah, he goes on at
So,
8:15. That's what it is.
Yeah, but he has a premiere right now.
Oh,
it's
that's
one
why he's live. Okay.
Yeah, it has, and it is 1:00 my time, so I don't think I'm gonna go for much more.
Oh yeah, I forget you're on the weird side of the world.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's already
But
tomorrow
Scott-
for him.
Scott McGinnis, if you contact me if you want to come on and talk about something, or call Dave. He would love to have people on as well.
Yeah, because he does
And,
a lot of the Turtleboy stuff.
I do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you try when you're not guesting on other channels.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you, Dave. Everyone, please go and subscribe to Dave. Thank you, Jamie, and do all the YouTube stuff. I'll send you over to LTL. I'm ever present in the videos, but it's like finding Waldo. Oh, well, we'll look for you, a man with glasses and a striped shirt.
Sounds good.
You should dress like Waldo.
Danielle wants to see Baker's feet, maybe on a different stream.
Yeah,
Well, let's
go to
do a private
Snap Your
stream
Day.
together.
Of course, a super chat comes.
Give you because
I'm sorry.
That setup. Yes,
That is funny. That is funny though.
Those
yes,
days,
very true.
You
Very true.
on the way out, you gave the best advice.
That was yes.
If you're wondering why she's inviting you for Christmas cookies and looking at this kind of mug, it's probably a setup.
It's a setup. Oh
Mhm.
Lord.
So yeah. So thank you so much, no strays, and thank you so much to the rest of the panel and all of you viewers. Bye.
I apologize. What exhibit are you referring to? I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. 100. Because it is 100% correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you see the lawyer's face? Okay, we have to go back and they.
Widower case.
Did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
Yeah.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody
Wait a minute. I need this story
has.
time.
Everybody has.
Everybody has.
Everyone has slept with his mother.
If I showed you.
Woof.
Oh my God.
I'm having a Jamie moment. And the way he just said it, he was just like, everyone did. Things on YouTube.
Mr. Randolph, do you?
I got against the man. You don't know.
Called him chicken shit.
That's right. You was chicken shit.